Hi friends, I'm Angelica Conrad. I'm so excited to be here with you at Scrapbook.com's beautiful studio. Today I'm going to be putting together a few Christmas products using their exclusive line, and I am really excited to share with you the projects that I've made. So I am going to be using their beautiful Christmas pattern collections. I have Christmas and peppermints. When I saw peppermint, I was so excited because pink is my favorite color, and I love putting pink in every card, every project that I make. So this lovely paper pad has beautiful mint greens and pinks and pink and red, which is my favorite color combination. So I'm going to show you how to make a gift card holder from a nesting die set, and I'm going to be using this paper. So one of the products that I'm going to be using today is the nested stockings die, and I'm super excited about this die. I'm going to use the largest die in the set to make gift card holders. So let's take a quick look at one. I have put a little bit of decorations on it, and I will walk you through that too. But when you open up when you pull the stocking topper up, out comes your gift card. So this is such a quick and easy project. You're gonna love how easy it is to put together, and you just need a limited amount of products. So these are the first two products that we are going to be working with. I have the shaped dies, nested stocking set, and then peppermint pattern paper pad. So I'm a huge fan of nested dies. I think they're such a fantastic investment for your craft space, especially if you're a new paper crafter. I am a card maker, and every time I sit at my desk, I always pull out a nested die. Whether I need rectangles to help die cut my card panels, or a shaped nested die set to make frames or shaker cards, even tags, you get so much from one package. So I'm going to show you several ways of how to use this die set, starting with the gift card holder. So the first thing that we need to do is pick out our pattern paper for the stocking. The front of the stocking is going to be pattern paper, and the back of the stocking is going to be cardstock. So like I said before, I love pink and red, so I'm actually going to use this gorgeous floral print. And these papers are double-sided, but this is what I really want for our stocking. And then just to keep it a little traditional, the top I am going to pick a green. So there is this beautiful mint green and this darker green, and I think I'm going to do the darker green just so it's super vibrant. Okay, so let's start die cutting. I'm going to pull out my cutting boards. So I'm first going to die cut the stocking. So I'm going to put this down on top of the paper, and I am going to tilt the stocking just a little bit. That just is easier to run through the die cut machine. I'm going to tape this in place with a little bit of mint tape and cover it with the cutting board, and then we'll just get this through the machine, and then we're going to have a beautiful pink and red stocking. Now, the paper scrap, we do want to save that because I'm going to show you what to do with that later. So I'm just going to set this aside. And I love this tape because I'm going to be able to reuse it over and over again. Actually, in my craft room, I take the tape and I just put it on the side of my desk so I can just keep using it until the tackiness is gone. So now we need to do the topper, and I'm going to use the green now. I actually am going to cut off the strip so I can keep that paper for another project. So I'm just going to quickly trim this off. And since this is a more pattern that might be in one direction, with these dies, the toppers, there is a more curvy part and then a slightly curvy part. The slightly curvy is going to be for the bottom. So if you're using pattern paper where it is a one direction pattern, you do want to make sure that the less curvy part of the topper is on the bottom of the print. So let's get this tape down again and then run that through the machine. And then I'm also going to want some cardstock cut too, and I'm going to be using red cardstock. So I have already die cut red cardstock off screen, and what you're going to need is one full red large stocking. You're going to want 2 of the toppers, and then also a 5.5 by 2 1/4 strip, and a you're going to also want, let me grab these out, it's being a little tricky, 1/2 inch by 2 1/4 strips that we're going to glue to the top of this strip. Just like that. So let's glue some pieces together. First thing we're going to do is glue the stocking, and I'm going to use a precision tip glue. This is Scrapbook.com's Artiste glue. I'm only going to do a really thin line of glue around the edges because we want to leave a pocket so we can put the gift card inside the stocking. So I'm just going to be really slow here. There's no rush, and I'm just going to get that glue. And you do want to you do want to use a precision tip, or you just want to be really light-handed with your glue, because you don't want to glue too much of the paper, because then you're not going to be able to get the gift card to go inside. Just like that. Stick that aside, and then we'll just put this right on top of the cardstock. You can lift it up and make sure that you have it lined up nicely, and just kind of bond those papers together, and then we'll set that aside to dry. And while that is drying, we're going to glue the topper onto one of the red cardstocks. So again, like I said, the curvier part of the die cut is the top, and you can see the less curvy part does match the stocking. So if you like your stocking this long, it does match perfectly to the bottom of the stocking, just like that. So now let me glue these pieces together. And if you have a tape runner, you can use that also. I just have the glue out. I am a huge fan of glue. It's inexpensive and it just lasts a long time. If you are using a pretty wet glue and you're gluing a bigger piece of paper, one thing I like to do to let it dry flat is I put it under my MISTI, because the MISTI is nice and heavy. Okay, so I'm just pushing that together, sliding them into the so they're matching. And that's one great thing about working with glue, is you can maneuver your papers to get them to stack on top of each other perfectly. So now that we have this glued, I'm going to set that aside and just make sure that that glue fully dries before we use it. And now we're going to work with this long piece of paper. Now I want to show you that this is going to slide into here, and if we use the glue properly, we're not going to have a problem. Let me just loosen that up a little bit. It should just slide right in there, just like that. So now we have a really nice pocket in our stocking, and we're going to attach this to the topper. So the first thing we need to do is take those 1/2 inch strips, and we're just going to glue them to the top of the tab. And this is a really quick, now this is going to be the back side. I should mention that too. These tabs are going to be on the back side, and it'll make a little bit more sense when we get to assembling the stocking. But for now, we want to make sure, let me grab these reverse tweezers. This is my third hand in my craft room. I use reverse tweezers always. So let me fix that just a little bit, get some more glue on there. If you make a mistake like that, it's totally fine. Just rub it off. This does dry clear. So I'm going to get that on, make sure that is lined up. And now this is ready to be attached to the topper. Now, I want the topper to be up a little bit from the stocking, so I'm going to back this with thin foam strips. So I'm going to be using Scrapbook.com's premium foam adhesive. I love these thin foam squares, or foam strips. They are 1/8 inch width, and they don't have a super aggressive tackiness to them. Some foam adhesive is so hard to work with because they're like, once they're down, they are down. But these are, you can move them a little bit. They're not like stuck in place immediately. Also with foam strips like this, if you take the backing off of them, then they will go around curves. So I want to make sure I have my bottom down. So I'm going to add the foam strips around the edge. So since I have the backing off, I'm going to be able to curve this instead of having to add a strip, cut, add a strip. This just helps save time. Get that on there, get it around, and then at the very end, we'll just use some scissors just to snip that last part off. Just like this. Now you can add this up here, or if you don't need that, you can just stick it right back onto the backing of the strips. So now I'm going to put 2 more rows of the foam strips, but I don't want to put them too low, because if I put the foam strips too low, then I'm not going to be able to have the topper go into the position that I want. So I am probably going to put my first row about, let's see, let me put one on here. I think that this right here, probably, what is that, maybe 1/4 high. We'll put 1 strip there. Okay, this got stuck. Let's put that back in place. Snip that. Another row. Snip that, and then we'll just add this last adhesive to up here with the other piece of strip. Okay. It is easiest to put a gift card on your strip before putting it in your stocking. So I'm going to use a dotted tape runner. I'm going to just put that on the back of, just a quick strip of that adhesive on the back of your card, gift card. And if it is, if you think it's a little too tacky, just use your finger a couple times and take some of that tackiness off. And this will go right on that strip, and then it's really easy for the recipient to take it off. But it is going to hold it in place while it's inside the stocking. So let's get this in the stocking, and then we will be able to position the topper. So we have a lot of room. So now we just kind of need to figure out where we want our topper to be. And I think this would be a good spot. So I am going to take the adhesive backings off of the strips and just take my time. Let me move that out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to take my time. I like that spot, so I'm just going to push that down onto the strip, and you see it's now attached to the top, and it comes in and out super quick and easy. So the reason why I put 2 strips on the back is if I did not do that and I just backed it with the cardstock, it's going to catch the back of this stocking. It just isn't going to look right. So we are going to lift that up just a little bit just to give it some room. And I'm going to add some glue to the back of those strips. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my needle back in this glue. So when you're using a needle point, you definitely want to get that needle back in because the glue will dry inside of it. And then that makes crafting not fun. So we'll get the glue back in there. And the adhesives are ready to go. The backings are off. I have the curved part up. And I also am going to put the die cut side down, so it's looking down at the table. So I have the back side up. So we'll just take our time here, make sure all the edges are lined up, just like that. And again, I did just push it up a little bit, but like I said, this is not a really aggressive adhesive, so it was really easy to move. And now we have this adorable little stocking with a gift card, and you know, Christmas is right around the corner. We give gift cards all the time in our house, and this is just a fun way to present the gift cards. Now, this is really cute as it is right now, but I want to dress it up. So I'm going to pull out a couple more exclusive dies, and we're going to do some more die cutting. So here are the dies that we're going to use to dress up the stocking. I have the bow toppers. This has so many bows in it, so cute, all different sizes. And we're going to use the large bow from this die set. And then I also picked the cozy foliage die set. Now this is another fun die set that you can use throughout the year. There are some stems in here, like this stem you can put in an arrangement in the summertime. You have fall leaves. And then there's also more winter themed leaves in this die set. So these are the dies that I'm going to be using from that die set. And for the sake of time, I've already die cut green cardstock off screen. So I am just going to pull these branches out and look at how pretty they are. They're so delicate. You probably are going to have to use a paper piercer to poke them out of the dies because they are so intricate. But these are going to make the most prettiest winter arrangements that we're going to decorate the stocking with. So here are a few of the stems. Now look at the embossing in that holly. I think it's so pretty. So I'm going to just make a quick arrangement with these. The longer die cuts, I do want to have them hanging down, and then I'm going to put the holly at the top since it's a smaller. So let me put this right on the stocking so I can show you what I want to do. See how I want the longer stems to just hang down. Let me just grab a couple of these, just like that. And let me find a different color. Well, I'll just use this green. We'll put the green in between these mints just to break that color up a little bit. And then the holly we'll put right on top. I like this green. And when I'm doing projects like this, I just die cut a whole bunch of leaves, and then I have just a big selection of leaves to pick from, which makes your project go a lot faster. So I love this arrangement right here. Now I do want to tie it together with a bow. So that's where I am going to use this large bow from the Bow Toppers die set. And let me pull this out and show it to you. I also have this already die cut. I used the same red cardstock that I put on the back of this stocking. So there is a nice little middle detail in it, and it just makes the prettiest bows. So let me pull one out. See how pretty that is? I just love it. And we're going to put a gem right in the middle just to emphasize the center. But you just put it right on top of the arrangement, and now you have a beautiful decorative stocking. Now it is lovely as it is right now, but I think we can make it even prettier with some glitter. So I am going to just rub a little bit of adhesive glue on top of the leaves and then smother it with glitter. Okay, so I have a piece of paper here that I am going to use to pour my glitter on, and let me just move all of these out of the way. So I'm going to put this down, and let's get these leaves out onto the paper, and I am going to just put a drop of glue on them, and I'm going to use my finger to smooth the glue out. My fingers are one of the most used tools in my craft room. In fact, when I sit down to craft, I always bring a wet rag with me so I can just continue to wipe my fingers when needed or wipe my surface, because I tend to be a pretty messy crafter. So I'm just adding some glue on here, and I'll just finish this stem. And I'm going to smooth that glue out, or you can tap it. You just want to cover a lot of the paper with the glue. And then I'm going to use Tim Holtz Rock Candy Clear glitter. Now this is in a special edition bottle. So this bottle is not available, but you can still get the regular size, which is in stock in the store. So you probably didn't need to pour that much glitter on it, but I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to pull the stem up. And now we have this beautiful glittery foliage, which I'm just going to put aside and let dry for a couple minutes. Let me get this cleaned up real quick, and then I'm going to show you some glittered arrangements I have already put together off screen. And since this bottle has a pretty large mouth, it's just really easy to get that glitter right back into the bottle. And if you get the smaller size, the jar, it is really wide mouth, so it's really easy to get the glitter back in. So let me pull out some arrangements that I've already added the glitter to. Actually, I have one right here. So I've already glued the stems together, and it was really easy to glue these pieces together because the stems are so long. Let me pull some pieces. So I just added glue. I'll just do one real quick. I just added glue right on the stem, just like this, and the precision tip is really good to use when doing this. Picked up the other piece with my reverse tweezers, and then the stems are really easy just to put together, just like that. Hold it together for a minute or two to get the pieces to stay together. And if you're using glue that doesn't dry really quickly, you can just clamp it with your reverse tweezers and put it aside so it can dry together. But since I have the arrangement already made, I am going to glue that onto the stocking. Just going to do a quick squeeze of this glue onto the back of the foliage. I don't want to do it all the way up because I do want this to have a little bit of dimension to it, and when you glue the pieces down, they're flat. So I'm just going to glue the middle of the die cuts right onto the stocking topper, and then I'm going to finish with this bow. Just glue dot right in the middle. Put that right on top of the arrangement, and now you have this beautiful decorative stocking that is just absolutely perfect for the holiday season to present a gift card to your friends and family. So I've already made a few more of these gift card holders off screen, so I'm going to show you what those look like, and I also used a second Christmas pattern paper pad. So I just made this one, and then this also came from the same paper pad. From the peppermint paper pad. And then I also used this beautiful Christmas, this is a more playful set. It also is double-sided. Look at those cards, I just love them. So I used this paper pad to make these three. Move these just aside, and I used die cut letters to personalize, and that's such a fun way to personalize your projects. Even if you're hand gifting a card, shut the envelope with initial of who the recipient is going to be. It's such a lovely touch. So I used the scallop circle die from Sunny Studio Stamps. I added one holly behind it and then topped it with a small bow from the Bow Toppers die. And of course, there are gift cards in them. So like I said, you can do a lot of projects with the nested die. So let me show you what else I've done with the smaller dies in this set. So here are two gift tags, which will be great on a present or on a gift bag. I did it in two different sizes, and I decorated them with the same foliage. Just added a little bit of cord on the top, punched a hole in them and just threaded the cord. I also made a slimline card. Now, I didn't put glitter on this card. Some people don't like to work with glitter, so I wanted to show you what it looks like without glitter. And then I used a larger stocking, and I put the foliage inside the stocking. So this is another fun way to use the foliage. Again, topped it with that beautiful red bow. And here is one last card that I made, and this was made with a rectangle nested die. I just added two of the nested dies together just to cut a frame out, and I kept the outer edge and glued that right onto the card base, and then added the middle part of the card front. And then that background, how beautiful is that snowflake background? I actually used that. I used the snowflake stencil to stencil this background. And let me grab that stencil because this is gorgeous. So I used this snowflake stencil set to do the backgrounds on the slimline and on the A2 size card. Now, to stencil the slimline card, it was super easy because it isn't quite as long for the slimline, but I just used some mint tape and masked off the bottom snowflakes. I stenciled the top, and then I just moved the stencil down. And since it's see-through, I was able to see where my light brown snowflakes are on this background, position it, and just finish off the panel with some more snowflakes. Super easy. These are all just quick and fun projects to do, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun creating. And I have one more project to share with you, because remember I said don't throw those scraps away. So I'm going to bring back that paper scrap that I put aside, and there is this adorable little stocking that fits perfectly on the paper scrap. Just run that through, add a topper, and you have the most adorable little stockings. Look at how cute these are. I just topped them with a small bow from the bow topper set. I added some foam adhesive to the back and then attached them to a card. How cute. Now, I did double these bows, so you can just pinch these bows up a little bit to give it a little bit of dimension. I put a little dot of pops right in the middle of the bow and again put it on a snowflake background. So I hope I was able to share a few ideas on how to use the stockings nested die, and I hope I've shared my passion of why I love nested dies so much. Thanks so much for joining me today. All the links to the products that I use are going to be linked down in the description box. Take care, friends.